Hello, everybody. I thought my hello, everybody, and welcome back to the By Faith podcast. Sorry, I have my phone on. I always have my live stream pulled up on my phone. My name is Elizabeth Davis. I am your host, and today we are going to be discussing the WEISS report that came out today. But before I do that, I just want to make sure everybody can hear me okay, right? Like we're good. Sound is good. I'm not lagging. All of that. Please let me know in the comments because I want to make sure this broadcast goes as smooth as possible because we have a lot to cover. And I'm so excited to be with you guys. I'm not excited to share this story because, as usual, it is a sad story and it's not something that we get excited to talk about every time something new comes out about it. It's not a gossip fest. It's not something that we look forward to, quote unquote, reporting on or commentating on. This is an ongoing story that we haven't had any news on in a while. And recently, if you did not read the WEISS report, I will catch you up very quickly. I'm not going to be able to go long tonight, but basically, Julie WEISS received the interview from JW and Rebecca speaking to the Colleyville police about the incident with baby lamb and everything that they had seen with Pete, who now in this video is quoted as his name, which is Joshua Brown. And if you've been living under a rock, Pete and Joshua Brown are the same person. Now, let's make it clear. This has not been, there has been no criminal charge against Joshua Brown, and there hasn't been any, the case is currently closed. But it is so crazy to me how this case is closed because after reading the WEISS report and watching the video of the interviews with JW and Rebecca WEISS, it's hard for me to imagine how they couldn't issue a warrant or something for Joshua Brown. So, yeah, we can drop the facade, someone said. Yes, we can. It's thank God, because I got tired of calling him Pete. But he, JW and Rebecca really get, you really see a lot of who their true colors. My cat is losing his mind. There's a fly on the loose right now, so if you guys hear him meowing, sorry. He's so loud. And it's like literally right in front of me, and I hope that he doesn't try to jump and like knock my camera over. That would be so crazy. But anyways, it's crazy, and I'm sorry, I'm not doing a good job of summarizing this, but basically Jonathan requested the interview, the recording from the Colleyville police. It is public record. It is legal to do that. He didn't obtain it in some nefarious way before you guys get all, upset about that. So that did not happen. It's public record. You just have to request it. He got the recordings and released it to Julie WEISS. And Julie WEISS wrote her article about it today and released it, and also included clips from the interview in the article, from the interview. And then she also shares the full interviews on her YouTube channel, which is what we're going to go over a little bit of today. So now that we've gotten into that, I've explained a little bit. I'm going to pop open my LaCroix. And I don't know if you guys watched my broadcast or my show that I pre-recorded on Sunday or Saturday. But I decided to put one of my LaCroix in the freezer. Actually, it was a bubbly and a LaCroix. And I forgot. I meant to just like make it cold because it was sitting in the box still, and I didn't have it in the fridge. And I was about to do a video, and I popped it in the freezer. I forgot about it, and then I like de-thawed it. And of course, I knew it was going to happen too. When I opened it, it kind of exploded more or less on camera. So yeah, that's for your viewing pleasure at your leisure next time you have some free time. It's my Erica Kirk video. And another thing is a lot of people were making some ridiculous comments about how can you defend Erica Kirk and her hug of JD Vance, because that's what my last video was about. How can you defend her whenever you talk about Joni stealing Doug's ex-wife. And it's like, that's a completely different situation. There was a literal divorce of one wife and a marriage to another wife when it comes to Doug and Joni Weiss. Everybody's last name is Weiss. um, in the characters of Daystar. And it's just ridiculous that people would even compare those two situations. Erica is a widow. She has, limited people that she can actually depend on and trust during this time. So to insinuate that there's anything going on between JD Vance and Erica Kirk is really, really low of you to insinuate, especially to compare her to somebody like Joni Lamb. Are you kidding me? They are so different. And I just wanted to address that in case any of you guys are watching that think that. They are so different. And I'm not even saying you're a bad person if you do think that, but I think that's a really deceptive thought that you are entertaining. And I think you need to cast it down and you need to pray about it because they're completely different. And I think that it's easy to discern that. It really is. So I just wanted to say that. Also, really quickly, I'm sure you all have seen the news about the awful things going on in Nigeria with our brothers and sisters over there in Christ. They're attacking Christians. They're killing Christians. They're being persecuted. Absolutely terrible. Even Nicki Minaj, who is a secular rapper, got on X earlier this week to thank Donald Trump for his attention to that country and for offering to help them. Nicki Minaj. And we can't even get Christians, pastors in the pulpit to say it, who defended Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Hello. Hello. It's Nigeria. You can't say anything about that. Anyways, I will say something about it. Please continue to lift them up in prayer. I ask that you just remember them and make a mental note of something you look at. Like every time you see the color green or every time you see the color white, because their flag is green and white, pray for them, just something like that like makes you remember. I'm really good with that. Like there's certain numbers I'll see that'll remind me of a Bible verse that remind me to pray for a particular person or group of people. So just kind of remember them in prayer and try to give yourself reminders to do that multiple times a day. They really, really need it. So also later this week, I'd like to go live again. I want to continue to talk about Daystar and anything else that might be going on in the world. Candace Owens is a little bit, got a lot to say. So, some of you guys are probably coming back to watch me after watching her. So we'll have to talk about that later this week. So let's just hop into it now. The first thing I wrote down in my notes for today is Rebecca talks out both sides of her mouth. In one part of the interview, she says that she doesn't trust Jonathan and Susie because allegedly Jonathan wants to take over Daystar. And that's his motivation behind taking this story public about his daughter's essay, which makes zero sense. I don't know why any father in their right minds would do that. To insinuate that your brother is evil like that it shows who you really are. Because to know anything about Jonathan, I don't even hardly know Jonathan. Like Jonathan's my friend, but we're not best friends. Like we don't talk every day. Anytime I do talk to him, it's like in person with Susie there. So, and I know that Jonathan is a good man. Again, it doesn't take a wise owl to know that. It's just pretty easy to see that Jonathan's a wonderful human being. So to tell these people that are investigating your niece's SA that Jonathan has the wrong intent and motive, who cares? Anyway, who cares? If she was SA'd, you're just mad that the world knows and that they know that you're a fraud. Because you're still sitting at Daystar. You still have your family around the PDF file, the alleged PDF file. You still have your family there. You still have your children there. You still have your wife there, JW. You still have your daughter there, Rebecca. You're the one still around. Jonathan and Susie aren't around. So stop blaming Jonathan and Susie when you have a role in this. It's not your family. So if you say that it matters to you and you don't trust them, then why are you still at Daystar? And then because she'll talk about how in the interview, she'll talk about how she believes that there's so many names. Joshua Brown is a sketchy person and how she thinks he's mean and she experienced him being mean to her and her husband and her kids, and they didn't need that, and he's not welcome at their home. She said that. That's not in just the letter anymore. That's not just something we heard from Jonathan and Susie, which we believed that before it came out of Rebecca's own big mouth. Okay. All right. So she talks out both sides of her big mouth. That's all I know about that. I don't trust, she'll say, I don't trust Josh Brown because he's a creep, but I also don't trust Jonathan and Susie because they want justice for their child. You know, that's what they want. It's not about Daystar. If it was about Daystar, they'd be right there beside you. But the only people at Daystar are you. So who really wants Daystar in this scenario? It's not Jonathan. It's you, JW and Rebecca. You guys are the ones that want Daystar. Otherwise, you would have ran with them. You would still be by their side. You wouldn't have accused them of, oh, they cut us off. Why'd they cut you off? She says, oh, they cut us off. They refused to talk to us. Why is that? Because again, anyone that knows anything about Jonathan and Susie, they are hospitable, they are welcoming, they are loving, they are kind, they interact with any and everyone. If you have a pulse, they will love you and they won't talk to you. And I want to do a deeper dive into this. I don't have a whole lot of time. And plus this is all, I'm taking a lot of this in at the same time as y'all. And I have so much I could say, but for the sake of time, I want to do a deep dive into this later this week. But the investigator, his responses to any time she says anything that's just drama, that's just Joni drama, he just kind of goes, oh, okay. And then moves on to his next question. And a couple times he pretty much tells her, I don't really care about your Joni drama. Because that's what that is. She gets it from her mother. And you know what? I used to be soft with Rebecca. I used to really give her a lot of grace. And then I watched this interview. And she made a fool of all of us who gave her any grace. So I want to play a clip from the interview. And we're going to go over, it's I believe if I have the right timestamp, so just bear with me here, because like I said, this has just come on me so quick. I was not expecting to see this today or to commentate on this today. I keep wanting to say report, but I didn't. Julie Roy's reports on it, and we kind of commentate on it. But she goes to talk about, JW and Rebecca go to talk about how there was a physical encounter between Baby Lamb and Joshua Brown that really disturbed this couple. So let's watch that really quickly. I got to put my headphones on. Hold on. Hopefully they don't die. They're only at 17%. I didn't know they were dead. I was able to charge them a couple minutes before I started. Headphones over top of a hat look so goofy, but here we are.
Right now. You guys are a big part of the missing puzzle for me, so because I actually haven't talked to you guys.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So a lot of the common recurring things when I mentioned you guys on the reports and stuff and the blogs and whatever was that you guys had wrote a letter or email talking about concerns for Josh or something.
Yeah. I wrote like a
not really
like more like a brainstorm of like what I've witnessed and like my concerns and just what I found was alarming.
What kind of stuff was alarming?
So your little diary entry that you wrote, that's not incriminating at all. It's not really that legit. It's just a diary entry. Okay, JW. Dear diary, my brother-in-law is a pedophile. Who cares what kind of article it was that you wrote? You still wrote it down.
The behavior of Josh towards, like, I saw him, force himself on her to kiss her in the green room setting on 2 separate occasions. And both time I was just like, ooh, just why is he doing that? And I just went and told parents, Jonathan and Susie, I was like, hey, just so you know, I saw this. Well, one time Susie was sitting there.
She was there.
And I was like going like this, like, Susie.
We were like, hey.
She was like, double the distance from where you are to me. And I was like, and she was kind of pretending like, I don't know what that was. She was pretending like
she wouldn't say anything.
She couldn't see me, which I was doing this. I'm not small, Yeah. And it's not a big room. So.
Not physically, you're not small. but you are spiritually small.
Oh, I don't know what that was, but that was one instance where I saw him like grab her and her trying to shrivel, kind of how kids like, and him force a mouth-to-mouth kiss. And then a separate occasion, I was very close. I was like this distance. I was sitting at a fridge with my back, and he was coloring at the table. And he came in and was asking for a kiss, kind of like this, and he grabbed her by the face and did a little kiss on her there. And that was the one that I was close. When you're like 2 feet away from it, I wanted to freak out. It was weird,
It's weird, like a not blood uncle.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay.
And even just anyone, I don't know. I wouldn't kiss.
We're very
I kiss my
protective
kids, but-
people. We're protective people. We love our niece.
Yeah.
And so we deferred to the parents. We just said, hey,
And I didn't know, maybe their boundaries were different. Maybe Jonathan and Susie liked their kids being loved on in that way by Josh and Rachel. So it's
Doesn't it feel so good to just hear that disgusting man's name? Josh and Rachel. Josh. It's you, Josh. It's you. It's always been you.
yeah, and since then when this story's come out and I've shared my perspective, Rachel says oh, I kiss them all the time like that and stuff. And so kind of okay, whatever. That's y'all, Again, it's just, I thought it was really weird.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it was weird.
That was at they call
That's
it
The green room, which is
it's
the common
a
area.
family area.
Yeah.
People are always coming in and out. It's right above the studio where we film. So that's where
So there you have it. What more evidence do you need, y'all? And by y'all, I mean you and your husband, Rebecca. What do you need? What do you want? I mean, oh my gosh. I just feel so bad in a way because I want to see what I want to see or what I did want to see, and now I understand why I don't know that it'll ever come to pass. With God, all things are possible. But I really want to see Rebecca and Jonathan and Susie reunite in JW. I really want to see that. I have wanted to see that. I have been pulling for that. I've been hoping and praying for that. And I'm not going to stop, but my perspective has obviously changed. And I knew that Rebecca wasn't being loyal to Jonathan and Susie. But I didn't realize how much, and this actually pains me to say, because I don't like family discord. The family is very important to me. It's very, very important to me. If I was a person to have a whole sleeve of tattoos, all of my tattoos would be about faith and family because those are the two most important things to me. And I think people who get tattoos typically get important things to them. And if I were to do a crazy amount, I would have family, tattooed all up and down my arms. But I can't get behind you. Family should be loyal to one another. And Rebecca has a really twisted version of what family loyalty is. She says multiple times in the interview, which I don't have time to go into today or find the clips for. You just need to go watch it yourself because it's just something you need to see with your own eyes. She constantly is trying to paint herself as this loyal person. And it's how can you be okay? You are loyal, but you're loyal to the wrong camp. How are you going to, the enemy is in your camp. How are you going to be in the same camp as Josh Brown? And then say, oh, Jonathan and Susie betrayed our family. They betrayed our family. They should have never went public. No, you guys should have never kept it a secret. That's the truth. And that's what you don't like. And this all makes you look really bad. And so did the Dear Diary entry from JW. And that's why they didn't want to share it. See, now everything's coming out. You can't hide your secrets forever. You can't. You think you can, but the truth always comes out. Your sins will find you out. I'm fired up. All right, there's another clip I want to go to. it's about 40 minutes into the interview, so we're going to skip ahead quite a bit. And the reason I want to go over this is because we have heard allegations. Remember, I'm wearing my allegedly hat for a reason. I saw this hat online and I was like, I've got to have that and I've got to wear it on the podcast. And I'm wearing it because, there are still a lot of allegations, and I like to say allegedly. It's just a fun word to say. You should try it. Allegedly, allegedly. Allegedly, there are stories about Joshua Brown in Australia being inappropriate with young, I think, girls. To my knowledge, and I could be wrong, it's been a while since some of this has come out. I don't think there's really very many young boys. It's usually girls, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any. It's just to say that I haven't heard any of that. But I think it's young girls over in Australia. If you don't know, Josh Brown is from Australia. And he, I think, babysat some girls and he was inappropriate with them, which I'm sorry. I don't think a boy should be babysitting. I just don't. There's no reason for it's different if it's like, okay, all of the kids are home together and the parents go out, the oldest is in charge. Okay, that's not really babysitting. I'm talking like someone is like, you're putting your kids kind of at risk. I don't think it should be a boy, right? Like, and you're putting them in an intimate setting. I don't think I'll ever allow my kids to be babysat by a boy, unless it's like family. But I guess, anyways, he was babysitting girls that weren't his family over in Australia, and there was some allegations that came out about that. So, that kind of comes up in this interview. And it's just really interesting. So I wanted to play it and just kind of talk about it a little bit. Again, forgive me if this isn't the exact timestamp. I am trying, but like I said, today was a crazy day. So I didn't expect any of this. I did not expect to be sitting here with you guys tonight, although I am very thankful. So thank you to everybody watching. I see John T in the chat. We got Hide Out Loud, Nanny Sheep. Who else is in there? Love, shout out Love. I don't see Sherry Troutner, but I'm sure she'll be in the replay crowd. Friendly Neighborhood, Jesus Freak. We got all the usuals tonight, and I'm really thankful. I love you guys so much. I see Laura Gray with some other letters after that. I know some of you guys use like your kids' accounts or your family members, so it's not your actual name, but I am very thankful for all of you who are here tonight. So thank you for being with us and listening, and as we go over this tragedy.
Weird stuff coming out. People bring out stuff that allegedly happened in Australia, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, people running with it online.
Did you talk to them about that?
So this is so interesting to me. Now, I'm not going to play this, but it's 50 seconds of this sound. Okay. It was removed because it's about things that have happened in Australia. I hope and pray that he goes down in Australia, in the down under, but not the kind of down under. I want him to go down under and fall down under his sins and have to actually face the consequences of what he's done. I'm full of puns today, y'all. I am full of puns, and I'm glad you guys are here to witness it, because sometimes, anyway, okay. I'm just going to quit while I'm ahead.
It's literally me and trying to get my mind around the fact.
Oh, so here he's explaining his diary entry
of, these things that we witnessed. This event in Florida had happened, and it was so dramatic and like kind of seared in everyone's memory. And then all of a sudden, like, Marcus and Joni said, Josh is innocent. He hasn't done anything. So it was just literally like, I would call it like a brainstorming document. Yeah. So that as you read it, it's just like, it's not like a well-written anything. Yeah. But
like it's not.
It's been mentioned so much. But,
No, but it's you getting all your thoughts out and really trying to make sense of everything.
Yeah.
And that's not relevant to the case. How? Why are you downplaying your diary entry? When you do a diary entry, you are writing down your thoughts and feelings and emotions, and it's not just something that you can lie about usually, unless you're like a pathological pathological liar, usually you're writing out your thoughts and feelings and things that you're witnessing and experiencing. So to downplay this document is just such a weak move.
So you're talking about so it says Ooh, Jonathan and Susie. Would that be talking about anybody in particular, or this is your timeline of events for the whole Josh thing? I guess just abbreviated. Okay.
Yeah. So talking about him wooing them.
It's kind of like, you know,
And
when
she
you have
can
an
provide
iPhone.
context for that.
Yeah, I remember you said that they were really close to Jonathan and Susie because they thought they were gonna, I guess, take over.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the thing with the kids in bed?
Her level, and he kept whispering, give.
Since I guess I part about the kiss, I didn't emphasize my questioning last time. What was it, like a peck on the lips, or was it like a full-on adult, like throat kiss?
Yeah, I could show you on her.
This is really what I want to talk about.
It was pretty gross.
Was it? Okay.
Kind of like this. Like his lips were like open. I just remember because he used to have braces, and I just would be like, "Oh, that's disgusting."
It wasn't just
Ew.
like a.
It
It was like a.
good 2 seconds
Okay.
hold there, you know, and she's just kind of like.
And she was
Riding.
turning away. And the thing that I remember seeing is he was like right in front of her, and he was like this much, I mean, literally like this close.
Yeah.
And he was like down on her level, and he kept whispering, "Give me a kiss, give me a kiss," and he wouldn't.
That's a pedophile. That's what a pedophile does. Maybe it hasn't been proven in court, but that's what a pedophile does. Like, I right? How would you say that? How do you justify that if you don't think it's that? Right? I mean, even JW and Rebecca can't refute it. I don't think they would. I don't think they're like that type of evil. I think they're weak. I don't think they're wicked. They're with some really wicked people. I think that they have been, this doesn't excuse what I'm saying, mind you. I think they've been beaten down into the ground and they're still a part of this cult because I do believe Daystar is a cult. People don't act like this when it's a normal scenario. And I find it absolutely pitiful. Like this is pitiful.
He wouldn't leave her alone. It was so weird. You're like, leave her alone. Like, she doesn't want to kiss. Like, that's so strange. She's not even your kid. Like, I wouldn't even do that with my own kids. That was one of the things that we mentioned to everyone. We're like, that was weird.
Yeah.
Why were you doing that? Why were you incessant?
Yeah. Sounds gross.
Incessant. That's a good word. It's a good word.
Yeah.
It was gross.
Really.
Gross.
Yes.
Gross is also a word I would use to describe that. Yes.
Thank you for
So why are you still around him? Like that's just the question I keep coming back to. Why are you still there? It's not like you don't have experience in broadcast and production. You could find another job. It might not happen overnight. I don't know. And everybody's, I don't know. The financial situation for them must be really dire, but I don't know how you, in the words of one of my friends, couldn't just want, like, if you really wanted to be out of there, you would not care about the financial aspect. Your kids would share a room and you would live like, well, normal people really. And you would shop at Aldi or a discounted or cheaper grocery store. God forbid. I don't know. Maybe you shop at Walmart, but probably not. Somewhere where it's like comparable, like lower in price and affordable for families that are normal middle class people, and then you could get a real like job. I think JW has a degree. I'm pretty sure Rebecca went to college. I'm not 100% sure, but she has experience. So that's actually a cop out to sit there and say, oh, well, you know, I need a job and I need to feed my family and I have kids and I have this and I have that and all these excuses. No, you want your Louis Vuitton. You want your big, huge house where your kids can all have separate bedrooms and you can have a master bath with a walk-in closet the size of my apartment which is 950 square feet, might I add. And I'm doing great. I love my apartment. It's perfect. Except for the dog that was barking earlier today and woke me up at 6 a.m. And I've never had a dog bark here in the year that I've lived here. My cat is available to show himself. He is really after this fly. So we're gonna let him be on camera because that's what he wants. Oop. Scared myself too there, little dude. You want to say hi? Watch, he's gonna bite me. Say hi. Oh, you're being so good. You're not gonna bite me. That's so nice of you. Okay, bye. Sorry about that. I didn't want him to step on my laptop and shut the live stream down. Anyways, I don't know what I was saying, but I am interested to see what kind of response, if any, that Daystar will have about. Sorry about that. I muted myself. I am excited to see what. Hold on. Make sure I got the right mic. Okay, we're good. I'm excited to see what kind of nonsense Daystar potentially comes back with and says, I have a cat hair on my lip. Oh my goodness. If anything, if they even respond to it. But these videos are very implicating as far as, JW and Rebecca's dead silence and acting like they have no idea about anything ever that ever happened in the history of the world and just acting totally ignorant and living in bliss. Meanwhile, people around the world are like, what the heck? Like, hello, we've donated our life savings to your ministry and we pay your salary. I'm a little bit concerned about the pedophilia running around up in that ministry. Your business, your family business, because I think it's been disqualified for ministry for a long time. But, people don't have discernment in 2025. So I don't get it. I don't even know how they have any viewers at all. Unfortunately, there are a lot of older people that maybe don't get on social media that don't know anything about it. But my grandma is up there in age. I won't give it away just because I haven't gotten her permission to do that. But she's older and she is of an older generation and she knows what's going on. So I think that it's a little silly to pretend that all these old people or older people don't know what's happening. I think they do know what's happening. And I think that they don't have discernment. And I don't think age knows discernment. Discernment doesn't know age, whatever. Like a kid can look at this situation and be like, this ain't right. This ain't right. So that's all I have for today. What bravery. I want to commend Jonathan and Susie for pulling these recordings, for submitting them to Julie Roy's to continue to expose this family and the nonsense that they are living in and that they are stealing people's money and calling themselves Christians. I'm not perfect. I'm not here to say that I've got it all figured out and that I'm always the most discerning person in the world. But I do think that it's pretty easy to see that this is not a good situation. And one thing I will never understand is why Rebecca and JW stay in it. Because to me, the money could never be enough. So how much does money rule over you? You want to sit there and act like what Jonathan didn't do, what Jonathan did wasn't biblical. What's not biblical is that you can't serve two masters and you are trying to do that. That's what's not biblical. You are trying to serve God and mammon. You cannot serve both. And I say this with love, and I don't say it with judgment because, again, I have plenty of areas that I need to work on in my own life. But what I won't do is be quiet about a pedophile. That's just where I draw the line for my life. Could you chill? I'm trying to do a broadcast. What are you doing? Oh, the fly is up there on the wall by you can see it. It's right there. That little dot right there, that's the fly he's been after this whole time. So I'm going to go try to find, I don't have a fly swatter. I don't know why. Like, it's just one of those weird things that you need that you don't think to buy until you need it. And I don't have one. So I'm gonna have to find a way to kill that fly, or hopefully he'll just kill it himself. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all being here and tuning into my live. It means so much to me. And I am trying to get on a more routine schedule now that summer is over and fall is actually almost over. I usually have a pretty busy summer and fall, but winter and spring are usually pretty chill. And even after that, if I'm busy, I'm going to try to keep this at the forefront of my priorities because you guys are just awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Say hey in the comments if you are watching this in the replay crowd. Give this video a thumbs up. That really helps boost the algorithm. That's going to help get this story to more people so that more people can understand how to have awareness and discernment in scenarios like this, and that we can fight back against spiritual abuse in the church. And I also want to invite you to watch my other videos that are not about spiritual abuse, but more maybe political or even just faith-based Bible encouragement. I have a video it's in my queue to be edited about little Bible encouragement of how to respond during these times. I'm not a Bible teacher, but I do like to encourage people. So if you want to watch that, I will have that up as soon as I can. So keep your eyes out for that. The best way to do that is to subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you get notified every single time I post or go live. You won't miss anything from me. And one last thing, I always put my other social medias in the description of my video, as well as my email. And there is a place to donate should you feel led to do that. Please do not feel obligated to give to my ministry or business or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know. I don't have a word for it. I'm just doing my best. And what you see right now, I've paid for with my money from my 9-to-5 job. So I don't have donations. I am doing this all out of pocket. So if you would like to help out, I would greatly appreciate that. But most importantly, your viewership is what I care most about. So thank you for supporting me with that. And you guys are just so amazing. And God loves you so much. And I love you. And I will see you all in the next episode of the By Faith podcast. Adios.